Inside Racing is brought to you by Dunlop.
Whenever the wind blows across the barren asphalt of the track, the circuit cowboys have to be alert. Not only in the desert, but unfortunately also on almost every racetrack. Sand, dirt and bits of tyre blown onto the track not only drastically reduce the tyre's grip, but also cause skidding that greatly shortens the tyre's life. Permanent driving at the limit causes the tyres to quickly wear away. Drivers who don't look after their tyres wear them down faster, at the expense of lap times and handling. Every weekend, touring car driver Matt Jackson experiences what it means to push tyres all the way.
We just vary the throttle, so we don't brake, you just turn the car in and just vary on the throttle like a tap. That means these little babies get absolutely just driven into the ground. So therefore they've got to be a good construction and a good tyre.
For manufacturers like Dunlop, the issue of durability starts right at the design and simulation stage. Here, complex analyses define whether the tyre is going to be a sprinter or a long-distance runner.
So simulation has the advantage that you can make many changes in the tyre model and look at the influence those changes will have on the tyre properties, on the stiffness of the tyre, the way they will generate the forces. So whether we'll have appropriate balance of stiffness of the tyre between the front and the rear axle, for example.
For endurance races like the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the tyres have to provide very long, predictable grip and performance. And lap after lap, hour after hour, they're subjected to enormous forces.
I mean, we have the downforce, which pushes the car down. We have the load of the car, so we have the shoulder of the tire, which moves. It's very amazing. If you have a camera on the tires and you look, you can really see the tire is moving. So therefore, the construction and the compound, it's fundamental to have a good balance. If I have a good compound with that, without a good construction, the tire just moves and you lose a lot of grip.
Tread, shoulder and sidewall must therefore be both flexible and stiff in order to transfer these forces. Lateral forces in corners, however, shouldn't unduly deform the tyres or they get too hot. Based on use, the sidewalls therefore get strengthened. Different circuits, different forms of wear, with varying surfaces. Comparatively slow circuits, like the Nordschleife, are particularly tough on the compound of a tyre's tread. A high-speed track, like Monza, requires a very stiff tyre construction in order to survive the fast straights and turns.
Also wir unterscheiden zum einen mal in der Reifenkonstruktion.
We differentiate for the one part in the tyre construction for differing circuits and in different tread compounds. That means there are naturally some circuits that, as we say, are very aggressive. That calls for the tread compound to have a high degree of physical stability. You could also say for a harder compound.
Und dann gibt es Rennstrecken, die sind sehr gering von der Rauigkeit.
Then there are circuits that have very little roughness, and due to appreciably less wear, they permit us in terms of the tread compound to be significantly more aggressive. That ultimately means to use a softer tread compound.
Letztendlich eine weichere Laufflächenmischung einzusetzen.
At full throttle, not only into the corners, but also over the curves. The tyres are naturally also intended to protect the wheels from damage. Skidding, sliding, spinning and braking hard all add up to an enormous catalogue of demands on the tyres. That this will wear them out is clear, but when is what everyone wants to know in advance, especially in endurance racing. Well, first of all, the tyres have got to be able to stay on the car for longer. There are also some situations where you have to pit stop and don't even change the tyres. The tyres have simply got to be extremely consistent, including in different weather conditions. If you can imagine day and night when the outside temperature then fluctuates by 20 or 25 degrees, the track temperature too. Even in these varying conditions, the tyres have got to provide grip. And what does a driver say about that?
The tyre is the one key thing which is in contact with the road, which grips you too. So a good tyre is the difference between you being on the front of the grid or the back of the grid. There is no mistake, and they are very underestimated.
In the night of the long knives, it doesn't depend on who's fastest on the draw, but who puts on the right tyres at the right time and looks after them on the track, lap after lap.
Inside Racing was brought to you by Dunlop.